Alright, race fans, welcome to MaxSpeedTV. We have yet another great race for you here tonight. Tonight is the Northwest Xfinity Series, and it is already shaping up to be a great race as we're here in practice for another about 21 minutes or so. So we want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. Definitely a big shout out to everyone that did tune in. We see we got quite a few people in chat with us here. So a little bit of a delay, it looks like, for KR Stolfus. He is not here just yet. Wrapping up another broadcast here on MaxSpeedTV. So we will have him join us here shortly, I am sure. But for the moment here, we want to go through all the sponsors real fast to let you know kind of who all is here with us. So again, we're going to do that. Take that away for you real fast, and we'll pull up our main graphic here. Again, you are watching the NES Racing 150 presented by Highway Equipment Company. To go through all the sponsors, though, simspeedshop.com here on the racing side of things. Big shout out to them for jumping on board with us here. HRE Motorsports and Elite 7 Racing, those are the two teams that help us do what we do here on MaxSpeedTV by supporting us week in and week out. Virtual2reality.tv. If you would like to get into iRacing and you want to get into it, you have a gaming controller or even a wheel and pedals already set to go, message us on our Facebook page for MaxSpeedTV and we can get you a 3-month code free for iRacing. Those are courtesy of Virtual2reality.tv, as they do hook us up with those. Dirtco Media House, definitely a big shout out to them. When we do stream to our Facebook pages, it is because of them, as they are the official sponsor of that right now. And Ohio IndyCar League, they are our newest partner here on MaxSpeedTV. We also broadcast them alongside being an actual sponsor. So if you are in the Ohio club and looking for some IndyCar racing, check them out. And here we go. The three main sponsors of this night. Two of them are actually one in the same kind of Highway Equipment Company. They have two divisions, and both of them here sponsoring this series tonight. One of those is, just as it says, Highway up there on the graphics, and the other is New Leader. So a big shout out to both of them for sponsoring this series here tonight under the umbrella of Highway Equipment Company and Sanctuary Studios. That is Josh Cushman. He is actually not here tonight, so he is not going to be racing with us. That is unfortunate. But again, Josh Cushman from Sanctuary Studios for jumping on board. You are watching the Northwest Xfinity Series. Again, this is the NES Racing 150 presented by Highway Equipment Company. We want to thank everybody for tuning in here on Facebook page with us, or Facebook on YouTube. It's a late night for us here. But again, everyone for tuning in on the YouTube page. Definitely, if you are new here tonight, hit that subscribe button if you want to see lots of great racing here every night, and definitely hit that thumbs up if you like the racing itself here. Again, KR Stolfus will be here shortly, wrapping up another race here. So we have about 17 minutes left here in practice, and we don't have a lot of our normal drivers that we go on board with. We do have two of them, though, as we'll look here to Chris White. There he is, as we'll pull over to him real fast on our onboard camera. There it is. See right there, we'll be on board with him throughout the night. He is running the SimStar Motorsports onboard camera here tonight, so a big shout out to him for running that. That is his official sponsor, so he is running that camera here tonight. We'll look over here to Jeff Stabnow, going to be running the official New Leader onboard camera here tonight. Again, those are our only drivers we have here with actual sponsored ones. We do have T&D Rustic Decor. That is our general sponsor here for all on-board cameras. So everyone else here tonight will be running that. You see there, we're watching Andy Vogt in the number 10 here tonight. We'll be running that camera. along with the other drivers here in this race. But again, thanks everybody for tuning in. We are just about ready, 16 minutes to go. So here for just a minute, let's turn that off, and we want to go through some other last minute things. We give it just a minute here, and we are going to wrap up some last minute things, and then we will be right back here in just about 1 or 2 minutes. Alright, we are back here again, just wrapping up some last minute stuff here. We do want to go over one thing here real fast, as that is not entirely accurate here, as we're looking at the top 10 drivers here in practice right now. Coming up next will be the Northwest Xfinity qualifying. Those two next coming races are actually reversed. We didn't see it till last minute. But the times and day are reversed backwards. The Sim Racing Authority Global Rallycross Series will actually be tomorrow night at 6:20 p.m. or Wednesday at 6:20 p.m. And the Dirt Slingers Racing League Fix 360 Series will actually be Tuesday at 7 p.m. So those did get reversed. We thought we fixed that, so we do apologize for that. Again, flipped those. The DSRL series will be on Tuesday. Sim Racing Authority Rallycross on Wednesday. That is the correct order for that, so we do apologize for that. But little errors like that do happen from time to time, so we do apologize. But without any further ado here, again, just probably about 10 or so minutes here before we probably should see KR here in the booth with us. So let's get rid of that here and put up our main session for you, and let's run through your point standings here coming into this race. It is going to be Chris White with 87 points as your leader. Brian Barnes with 82, 5 points behind. David Applegate sitting in third with 73 points, 14 points behind. Carl Burke with 72, negative 15. Gary Nichols with 69 points, minus 18. Case Hinkins back with 65 points and 22 points down. Jeff Stabnow, 65 points as well, 22 points down. Those two are actually tied for 6th place. Kevin Geiger right now with 59 points, 28 points out of the lead. Thomas Green, 59 as well, 28 points out of the lead. And Mark Walls, another driver not here, 56 points, 31 points out of the lead. That is your top 10. We're going through 11th through 20th. It's going to be Brad Cornell, Trent Alley, John Ottenbacher, Michael Peterson, Scott Mann, Andy Vogt, Joseph Bissett, Donald Swaffield, Corey Walters, and Trenton Barrington. Again, that is your top 20 in point standings right now. This is before coming into tonight's race. So anything could happen here in tonight's race, and anything probably will happen. So we're going to keep our eye on the point standings. So again, that is the point standings coming into tonight's race. So we'll keep an eye on all these guys. Obviously, Chris White, definitely going to keep an eye on him. Running that Sim Star Motorsports onboard camera here tonight, coming in your points leader. As well as Jeff Stabnow running the new leader onboard camera here tonight, back in 7th place. How can those guys fare tonight? Could they possibly change spots? One of these guys could be your new points leader. Brian Barnes has the best chance if he is here tonight, as he is 5 points out, and I don't see him at the moment here. So it looks like he is not going to be here. So this could get very interesting in the point standings tonight here in the race. But that will do it for that. We are going to step away one last time here, as we have about 11 and a half minutes left. And we're going to let you go on board with these guys here. Let you see what it's like in their eyes. So we're going to go to our cockpit camera here. And again, let you see what it's like to be behind the wheel of one of these machines with our onboard cameras. Alright guys, we are back here again with about 8.5 minutes left to go here in practice. We want to know, do you have a favorite driver in a chat? We see David Applegate in chat. Obviously he's probably his favorite driver here tonight. I would be wrecking the guess anyway. But do we have any favorites out there for anyone possibly rooting for a win? So definitely let us know if you have a favorite driver here. Again, right now, we are the lone man in here. This is Charles in the booth. KR going to be on his way here shortly, as we have a lot of broadcasts here on MaxSpeedTV that we have to cover. And right now, right there is the fastest man in practice. We'll put his name up on the screen. That is David Applegate in the number 23 machine. He is your fastest driver at the moment with a 30.907. So we're going to be running roughly 2 laps a minute here at this track. So it's going to be very interesting. Sorry about that. Apparently Trading Paints decided it wanted to close. So again, we do apologize for that, as Trading Paints decided it wanted to crash, as we'll get that popped back up for you there on the screen. But again, David Applegate, your fastest car right now. Second fastest is the 35 of Chris White with a 30.934. So it's going to be very interesting to see who can come away with the win here tonight. We'll see here. Everyone's cars are kind of reloading here, because we do apologize for Trading Paints coming down there. And so we'll turn that off real fast. Looks like he's going to get by the 11 there. The 11 has a lot of damage. That is Kevin Geiger. So a lot of damage to the right side of that machine. So he's definitely hit the wall a few times here to get that damage. So we'll look to see if he can keep it off the wall here in the race. I'm sure he can. Just minor damage there to that car. Take a look here at third fastest. He's not on the track, but it is Case Hinkins right now packing in third place. Fourth place, Andy Vogt right now in the number 10 with a 30.975. So really a blistering time for David Applegate with that 907, as he is putting together a great run here so far. And we'll see if he can do that again in qualifying. Again, he was said earlier, we were in there the pits talking to these guys, he didn't even mean to actually put that time up, but he did it. So he doesn't even know how he did it. He was just out there running some laps, and it happened. So we'll see if he can duplicate that here in about 6 minutes. Let's take a look here. Again, Chris White is on the track here. We'll see if we can't get a word in with him real fast as their points leader. So give us just one moment here, and we'll see if we can't get Chris White in here, as he is your points leader. Alright guys, we are back here. We do have Chris White in the booth with us. So first off, Chris, you're coming into this race representing SimStar Motorsports. You are the points leader right now. So does that put any more stress on you coming in here, or are you just taking this just as a normal race, just coming in here, do your thing, and hopefully everything turns out good?
Yeah, you know, it's still early in the season to really look at points. I mean, it's good to be out in the point lead, but you've got to look at the big picture. Just try to be patient. Take each race as it comes and get the best finish you can get.
Definitely, that is a best way to look at it. Yet a long season to go. I believe just 18 or 19 races, so actually fairly long season. So looking ahead, is there any track that you would call your home track, your favorite track that you're looking forward to getting to?
Well, to be honest, I'm from Michigan, so I like Michigan, to be my home track. But I really like the flat tracks. Flat tracks like Phoenix or Martinsville, New Hampshire, those kind of tracks. If those are on the schedule, I'd be watching out for them.
Well, definitely, we watch out for you just about every race to see you up front. So we don't want to keep you here too long, as we got about 3.5 minutes. But obviously, you got SimStar Motorsports on there. So other than them and them themselves, any sponsors you want to give a shout out to here tonight, and or just shout outs in general?
Oh, as always, I got to give a shout out to Wall Spirit Company, and Sanctuary Studios, Highway New Leader, and myself with SimStar Motorsports. We put on a good show. They do a lot of good work to put this series on, and it's a lot of fun. We're having a lot of fun out here.
All right. Well, again, that was Chris White here in the booth with us for a quick interview, as we got about 2.5 minutes. So we are going to subside. We might get another driver in here in just a minute, but we should be back here in, again, 2.5 minutes with qualifying. Alright guys, again, we apologize for taking some breaks here. We were just getting last minute stuff done. Still waiting on KR to show up. He is, again, doing his own broadcast here, and he is coming over here when he gets done. Sometimes they do run a little late, doing some rally cost racing over there. As right now you're watching Carl Burke in the number 53. Now we're going to switch over to the 8 of Gary Nichols. So Gary Nichols currently 9th fastest here in practice with a 31.044. And it looks like yeah, we were just talking to Chris White. We're in a driver's meeting, so we kind of apologize for pulling away from that. But they are doing a driver's meeting right now, so that is what's going on. That's why more of these cars are not on the track right now. So again, they will be coming out here probably. Actually, they probably won't with 45 seconds left to go. I don't look to see too many of these drivers out on the track. Once again, everyone's kind of wrapping it up, getting ready for qualifying, as that will be starting here in 30 seconds. Alright, getting news there in the chat for the ones out there watching. Looks like KR is wrapping his race up, so he'll be over here shortly with 2 seconds left to go. We are now getting ready for qualifying, as there it is. Your qualifying session coming up next. Alright, who is going to be coming out on to the track first here? Again, qualifying underway now. And we're going to take a second here to clear out that for be good. And it looks like Gary Nichols is going to be coming out onto the track here in that number 8 machine. So we'll put up the driver's bar for you so you can get a better idea as to who you are watching. Right now, that is the Virtual Racing School sponsored number 8 of Gary Nichols. Alright, again, thanks everybody for tuning in to chat here tonight as you are watching the number 8 of Gary Nichols right now. He is starting lap number 1. Again, they only have 2 laps to set the best time they can. So we'll pay attention and see what kind of times he can put in here tonight. as he is currently running at about 184 miles an hour. He is going to be setting a good time. I do look to see him probably in the top 10, maybe top 15, as it looks like everybody is out on the track pretty much here. Just has not put in a time just yet. All right, it looks like KR is here with us, as Gary Nichols going to put in a time there of a 31.002 to put him in first place right now. David Applegate right behind him right now in second with a 31.107. Again, KR just walking into the pits. He'll be up here in the booth with us momentarily. Taking a look here. Trent Alley, we didn't get to talk about him a whole lot last week, but a 31.232. He is currently third, now fourth, as Dan Porovich is going to take third from him with a 31.212. So a good time for him, as we have about 7 minutes still left in qualifying. Now let's take a look here, rounding out your top 10. Right below fourth place, Trent Alley, we have Brad Cornell with a 31.244 in fifth place, followed by Carl Burke in sixth with a 31.292, and Kevin Geiger with a 31.315 in seventh place. Then you have Andy Vogt and Case Hinkins behind them, but nobody else has put a time in, as there it is. Matt Henry's going to put in a 31.409 to put himself in eighth place. We'll see. There it is. Kip Leo's going to put in a time, and he is going to put in a 31.417. As we'll go back down here, look at Jeff Stabnow. Again, he is currently, I believe it was tied for sixth in points. So we'll see what kind of time he can put in here today here in qualifying. Again, we still have a few drivers. Scott Mann's on the track right now. Andy Vogt's on the track. Case Hinkins on the track. Donald Swaffield on the track right now. Swayfield is on the track right now, but have not officially put in any times yet. As you're watching the number 24 new leader Chevrolet, that is Jeff Stabnow. We'll see what kind of time he can put in. This will be a time lap right here. And it looks like there we go.
You gotta quit changing the locks on me, man. I had to pick the lock to get into this room.
We too try to keep this booth nice and secure. You know, we got all those Pringle cans up here we don't want people getting a hold of.
Well, congratulations to you, Charles. I have finally joined you. Your life just got easier.
It did. We're trying to follow all these people. We got around 22, 23 drivers, and it is very difficult for one person to keep up with them.
So, Gary Nichols on pole right now with a 31.002, and Jeff Stabnow, who you were talking about when I walked in, how's he looking?
He is currently 12th, so, there we go, 7th in that with a 31.222. We're looking at Scott Mann as well as Trading Paints loading his car there. He's second fastest right now with a 31.025, and I think I'm going to go ahead and call him as my pick for tonight's win.
Already making your call for tonight's win, huh?
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's
It's bold.
fast.
Case Hinkins with a 31.030 sitting in third spot. I'm leaning towards him or Andy Vogt. Haven't decided yet.
Andy's definitely put in a fast time, a fifth place time of 31.199. So definitely no one to count out. Is looks like David Swayfield's going to jump up to 8th here with a 31.232. So a lot of good times. Chris Sherburne just put in a good time too of a 31.239 to take 10th place.
Sherburne rounding out the top 10 right now. And 11th place is Brad Cornell, 12th Carl Burke, 13th Kevin Geiger, 14th Matt Henry, and final car to take a lap, Kip Leo in 15th. But we still have more cars on the track that just have not completed a lap yet.
Yeah, it looks like Brett Johnson out on the track right now, followed by Mike Peterson and Chris White. And Chris White's one, and we were going to say to look out for. He takes pole with a 30.9 30.74. He's the only 30-second lap here in qualifying, and he was the only 30.90 in practice.
So Chris White getting really, really fast. I'm glad I haven't made my pick yet. Chris White seems to be one of these drivers that at the end of the race, if his car is still running, he's up front.
Yeah, definitely. I probably should have picked him myself, but he's so fast. You know, I want to pick an underdog. That's typically what I do. Mike Peterson just put a time of a 30.553. So definitely Chris White is going to be someone to reckon with here tonight. I think he may have a really good chance. As we were talking earlier, Mark Walls isn't here. Josh Cushman's not here. There's a lot of fast drivers not here tonight.
So these guys that are not here taking a hit in the points, so everyone that's behind them is looking to, you know, gain as many points on them as they can. It's going to be an interesting race and also an interesting season as not sure, but does this league have drop weeks?
Not sure. I'm thinking they do, actually. So if they do, definitely they're going to be using it here tonight as we're going there behind the stands. We couldn't see anything. Mike Peterson's going to take it to pit road, so it looks like everyone that is going to take a time has already done so here. As we found out, Scott Hutchinson just comes in here to practice. We found out his internet was not the best, and he's not going to race until he does get it fixed. So we know why he's not in there. But Brandon Peters, Brad Carpenter, and Brian Barnes have not qualified yet.
We got 3 cars that have not qualified that we know of or expect to turn a lap time here. So like you're saying, Scott Hutchison, the 4th car, does not plan on racing. And you know, that's kind of a smart move on his part. If his internet's not hanging on, you kind of become a danger to everyone around you, especially at a high-speed track like Las Vegas.
Yeah, you definitely do. So you don't want to do that. But I just took a glance at the time here. So we're going to step away one last time for the national anthem, and we'll be right back with your HRE Motorsports starting grid.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here as it looks like everybody is starting to get onto the grid here. So not a huge field. We only have about 25 cars, but that is still enough that a big one could happen to here tonight. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully we have some nice green flag clean racing. And I do expect that these guys are very cautious. No one's real aggressive in this league. So I do expect to see some great racing.
You know, we've had a 2.5 mile race at Daytona, and now we've moved on to a 1.5 miles here at Las Vegas. And I think some stuff happened in between, but we won't get into that. But here we are, a different style of track from kind of what we've seen so far. You know, we were at Atlanta, where Atlanta will burn up your tires on 1.5 miles. This is going to kind of do more of the same thing, but just not as aggressive. This is a little fresher surface, a little bit smoother track.
Yeah, it definitely is a quite a bit smoother track here. We watched Atlanta, or as you like to call it, Hot Atlanta. It eats tires up. So that is not what anybody wanted, but this track's a little more forgiving. So with any luck, I bet we have around 2 cautions. I don't expect too many.
These cars are going to be looking for clean air. So be watching for guys to run a little high, a little low, little in the medium side too. So one of the things when I'm at Las Vegas, I like to enter really high here and let the throttle pull my car and exit kind of low in terms of how everyone else will come off the corner. And I feel it gives me a good run down the straightaway and keeps me from getting sucked into that outside wall.
It definitely does. It looks like they are rolling off here. So if you want to do the honors and start us off, we'll let you go through those first 5 rows for us. And our first 10 cars, and we will finish it up.
All right, your pole sitter, Chris White, with a 30.974. He's going to start on the front row. Gary Nichols on his outside. Scott Mann and Case Hinkins, row 2. Row 3, Brett Johnson and David Applegate. Row 4, Andy Vogt, Dan Porovich, and Jeff Stabnow, and Donald Swaffield will round out row 5.
Row 6 is going to be Trent Alley and Chris Sherburne. Row 6 is going to be Brad Cornell and Carl Burke. Row 7 is going to be Kevin Geiger and Matt Henry. Row 9 is going to be Kip Leo and Mike Peterson. Row 10 is going to be Brad Carpenter and Brian Barnes. Row 11, Scott Hutchinson, who we know will not be racing, and Brandon Peters. Doesn't look like he is racing either. So that will round out your HRE Motorsports starting grid in just in time as they are getting the green flag. We're racing for the first time here at the Nest Racing 150 presented by Highway Equipment Company. And again, green flag's out. This is going to be interesting as they're already starting to shuffle it out here just a little bit here in the front. And they're trying to get to that bottom lane. It looks like, as you see, Chris White as low as he possibly can get to that white line.
Fresh tires, fresh laps. You're going to want to be on that bottom line. That's where you're going to be the fastest for these opening stages.
Yeah, it definitely is. As we're seeing the 8, Gary Nichols, he's running a little bit different line than everybody else. He's running more towards the higher side or the middle. So running a completely different line, but he's actually trying to make a bid for the lead here, as he may actually try to get by Chris White for the lead here to get on lap 3. Very interesting this early in the race.
Gary Nichols doing what I just described. He likes to enter a little bit high, use the throttle to turn the car, and then he gets a run coming off a little bit down low and shoots down that backstretch.
Yeah, here comes the 20. That is Case Hinkins. He's going to make a bid for second place. And meanwhile, look at Chris White, like you were talking about. He goes all the way below the white line. When we saw this last week, you can go below the white line. It's not a yellow line here. So you can use every inch of this track. And it looks like Chris White is definitely going to do that, as Case Hinkins in the 20 does get by Gary Nichols for second position.
Meanwhile, in the back here, I'm looking at Carl Burke, and there's a knot of cars here all trying to figure out where they want to run. And as I say that, they get it straightened out and look to go a little bit of single file down the straightaway here.
Yeah, these we got 100 laps here. I don't expect to see anybody pressing the issues too much right now. There's really no need for it. Again, 100 laps is a long time here for any type of race. 100 laps, but a 1.5 mile track, that's 150 miles. That is a long race. Taking a look, speaking of long races, look back to 15th place, the number 4, Brian Barnes. He's second in points right now, didn't even qualify. So he has to have a strategy if he's here in the race. You know, not qualifying was not just him saying, I'm not going to qualify. Forget it. No, that was a strategy. He's trying to stay out of trouble or something. He has a plan, and it'd be interesting if we get a caution to talk to him and see what that plan might be.
You know, he's charging through the field here and doing a great job at taking his time. He currently scored 15th, started 20th. So, you know, he's not picking them up and laying them down real fast, just a slow, steady pace through the field here.
Yeah, definitely. And for anyone that's ever heard that story, you know, the tortoise and the hare, just because you're the fast one doesn't mean you're always going to win. So he's going slow, methodically. He's working his way through, not trying to press any issues. And I guarantee you, by the time we get to lap 50, he's in 14th now. I guarantee we'll see him at least 7th place, if not higher.
When it surprised me to see that guy up there, as you said, he's high up in the points, and you know, you got to wonder how crafty is this guy doing what he's doing.
He definitely has a strategy. Be interesting to see if we can find out what it is. Looking at another driver I want to watch here tonight is obviously the 24 of Jeff Stabnow.
Jeff Stabnow qualifying 9th, currently running 6th, and running below the white line down the straightaway there. Jumps up to the high side right along the wall, and now he's going to enter the corner and just roll through the corner. Gets close to that apex and starts drifting back up to the outside. One in the wall.
Yeah, that was the
right
23. I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah, the 23, David Applegate. Heavy damage to the right side of that car. He just nailed that wall coming out of the corner. And that's going to put a lot of damage on that car. So we'll see how that affects him here tonight. It's not a super speedway, so aerodynamics not huge, but they are going to play a factor here, as it looks like the 7 of Brett Johnson is going to get by him now.
You know, this isn't a super aero-sensitive track like at Daytona where, you know, it would affect how much you can suck up to someone or, you know, even slow down the line of cars that are behind you. But any damage on these things will affect it. A little bit of damage there on the right front, gonna have a change to it. Car's not gonna handle nearly as perfect, and it's just gonna wear you out just that much sooner.
It is, and back to Jeff Stabnow. We don't want to give him too much airtime here, but that is a huge battle now between Jeff Stabnow, Andy Vogt, and David Applegate. As we'll jump back to him, 7th place right now in the number 23 machine. Even with that damage, he's trying to make a run here at Andy Vogt for 6th position, and it looks like he's actually going to get by him. So like we were just talking about, aerodynamics don't matter here as much, as even with that little bit of damage, he's actually passing people on the track.
He's getting a great run off the corners, and it looks like he's backed his corners up a little bit. So that means people gain on him at corner entry, but he makes up for it at corner exit and gets a great run down the straightaways.
Yeah, it definitely does. We'll right here talk about a fast car. I do expect to see him up in this field later tonight. He's already in the top 10 right now. That is Brett Johnson in that number 7 machine. He was running some really solid times here in practice earlier. Again, for the ones that don't know, we only cover about 30 minutes of practice. They have an hour and a half practice. So they have plenty of time to rack in some laps, and he put a ton down, and he is showing why. He's now 7th on the racetrack, running some very solid lap times right now as we're about to start lap 13.
Kevin Geiger, sitting on pit road, has some extensive damage to the front end of his car. He's been on pit lane now for about a minute and 18 seconds, and he's just really not had this race go the way he wants to right now.
He didn't, and actually right as you said that, we switched up here a little too late, so we apologize for that, but Case Hinkins just took the lead from Chris White and now has just about a 1.66 second lead. So he just got that lead. As you see, if we'll jump back here to Chris White real fast, look at the side of the car. He has damage to that, so he scraped the wall there, and that allowed the 20 to get by him. That's why it was so fast we didn't have time to jump to it in time. But looks like that's the second person that outside walls caused him some damage here tonight.
So we got about 14 laps on our tires now. Our best lap by our leader Case Hinkins of a 31.197, crossing the start-finish line here, and he's going to turn, what was it, a 32.336 now, and his best is a 31.197, so over a second fall off. And Chris White got to the early lead, got some laps on the tires, but now pushed it a little too hard, got on the outside wall, and Case Hinkins looks to have a little bit better of a long-run car.
Yeah, he definitely does, as Hinkins now takes over the most laps led with that lap. So, a very interesting night. Looks like Jeff Stabnell's up to 4th now. He's moving forward. So, a lot of drivers. Again, we're missing a lot of drivers. We have about 19 here on the track now, or 18 on the track. As you said, Kevin Geiger on pit road, been there for about 3 minutes. Scott Hutchinson, we know, is not going to start. And Brandon Peters and Brad Carpenter did not start as well. As my pick for the race win here, the number 90 is currently sitting in 3rd place. And he's trying to run down these leaders. I just don't know if he has enough speed. As right now, on the old tires, Case Hinkins does have the fastest time here in the session.
So another car losing spots, Gary Nichols. He started 2nd, currently scored 6th, and he's another one that's got some damage to that right front, scraped down the side, got a little too heavy on the throttle, and caught that outside wall.
Yeah, definitely, and it looks like the back of that car is a little torn up too. That is unfortunate, a lot of heavy damage, but again, I do believe they have a fast repair. The question is, do you want to use it? And more importantly, when are you going to use it? Because we're 18 laps in, encroaching on the quarter done here, and we have yet to see a caution. So, like I said, I don't expect to see too many cautions. This race very well could go caution-free or just one caution. So that's going to be interesting, as it looks like Jeff Stabnell is going to get by the 23. I thought he was sliding back there just a little bit, but he did get by David Applegate.
Stabnell currently in 4th place, started 9th, so slowly, steadily working towards the front. He might be leading some laps here before this thing's all said and done.
He very well could be. As I'm looking at their last times here for the top 5, 32.60 or 32.6, 32.5, 32.6, 32.9. So he's a little off pace, but Scott Mann on their laps, this last lap they ran, he both ran a 32.6. So Scott Mann, this lap he ran a 32.7, so he's a little off pace that lap. But he found something on the lap before, and he was just as fast on old tires as Case Hinkins. So he could be up there. Jeff Stabnell definitely working his way up there. And we'll look to see if David Applegate can get that damage fixed here under pit stop or possibly a caution, and see if he has anything for him, as he's hanging right there with Jeff Stabnell, even with that damage. So interesting. So is Gary Nichols with his damage, currently in 6th place.
So some damage coming early to many drivers here. And like you're saying, it's a 100-lap race. We're on lap 21. Not what you want to see, because if you take the gamble now and take your fast repair, what's going to happen in a later stage? Could you get caught up in someone else's mess, and then your race is done? So these guys have put themselves at a strategic disadvantage by getting this damage here early on.
Yeah, definitely. And what did we tell you to look out? Brian Barnes. I believe he was 14th earlier. He's up to 9th place right now. He's picking these guys off one by one as he's going to thread the needle. That is a little early, and he thought early about their second twice about that one and second guessed himself. That could have spelled disaster, but he almost tried to make it 3 wide there. But again, thought better of it. He can definitely get by these, but the problem right now is you see the 8 and the 10 are running side by side. He has nowhere to go. He's got to pick a lane, and he does, and gets by the 10 of Andy Vogt. Now he's working over the 8 of Gary Nichols, trying to take 7th place.
One of the things that Brian Barnes is doing really well, he gets to the middle of the corner and he's able to get into the throttle that much sooner than the cars around him. So that gives him that much longer of a straightaway. And he's doing so without really scrubbing off a lot of tire wear. He's not over aggressive. He's not pinching the car off a whole lot. He's just able to get into the throttle that much sooner. And like you said, started 20th. Now he's scored 8th place.
Yeah, he is doing very good for himself. As it looks like, not sure what happened to Andy Vogt. He is out of the race, though. Not sure if he had a connection issue or what. But he is indeed out of the race now. So he may have had some connection issue or a computer issue. But that is unfortunate. He is just out of this race now all of a sudden.
Brian Barnes had just worked his way around Andy, and I saw Andy charge into the corner and drift up a little bit, but I did not ever see any smoke or anything. So I'm watching the replay to see what happened to him.
Yeah, very interesting to find out what happened. As we'll go back up to Case Hinkins right now, as he has led now 21 laps of the 25 completed at the line. So very interesting here. If he can hang on there, he would be a different winner. I do not believe he has won before. Chris White definitely going to have something to say about that. As it was, there it is, 2.299. It was about 2. There it is, 0.249. So Chris White is reeling in the 20 right now, very slowly, 32.771 to a 32.862. So it looks like Case Hinkins' tires may be fading off a little bit faster than Chris White's right now, as he's reeling him in 0.199 seconds behind him now.
So I can confirm Andy had connection issues, and he has been disconnected from the server.
That is very unfortunate, because he had a very fast car here tonight. So to see him disconnect like that due to connection issues is very unfortunate. Hopefully, with any luck, maybe he can get back in here, and he might be several laps down, as he's 3 down now. Maybe he can at least redeem a good finish here, a decent finish, and maybe get a solid top 10 or something, or even if top 15, if we have a big wreck to take some of these cars out of the race.
Dan Porovich on pit road, 14-second stop. He's back out on track. I don't know if this was planned or not. It seemed a little bit early to me.
Yeah, definitely it was a little early. Yeah, they said 14.9 seconds. He was on pit road for 51 seconds. That put him 2 laps down, so he may have had some damage he had to get fixed or something, but again, 2 laps down now because of that pit stop. I don't believe he went down a lap before, so again, pit stop put him down 2 laps, as you don't want to see, and he is having connection issues too. So that is not good for him, as he's having major connection issues here.
Brian Barnes has picked up another spot since we last talked about it. He's currently scored 7th now. And he's reeling in the 7 machine of Brett Johnson. Brian Barnes last lap a 32.7, Brett Johnson a 32.9. So reeling him in about 0.2 a lap.
Yeah, he definitely is. Like I said, I expect to see him up there. He had a strategy, and he is using it right now. It's the slow, methodical way, picking these guys off one at a time, and it's working for him very well. As it looks like we definitely are going to see a lead here, as Chris White's going to lose the spot to Scott Mann. Scott Mann running a 32.985 to a 32.909. So Case Hinkins definitely picked up some speed, but there's a huge battle right now between Chris White and Scott Mann for 2nd position, and now they're all 3 starting to get really close together here, and we may see a 3-way battle for our lead here in the next probably 10 laps if those tires hold on that long.
Scott Mann able to drive into these corners much deeper than Case, but he drove in a little too deep there, had to get out of it to avoid the back end of Case as they came out of turn 4.
Yeah, definitely did. And he's hanging on there. All these guys are doing a fantastic job here. 32 laps in. these tires have got to be pretty worn out at this point. So they're really doing the best they can just to hang on to the car completely. And I'm not sure what their fuel window is. I believe they run 50% fuel though. So we may go green flag racing all the way here. We could see some green flag pit stops. And that is where it is really going to get tricky. You cannot make a mistake. You can't overshoot your pit or anything like that. If you do, you're going to go to the back of this field and possibly a lap down.
Green flag pit stops are always a dangerous time because there's going to be cars on fresh tires out circulating with cars that are on old tires, and the speed difference is going to be really, really noticeable. I mean, Dan Porovich, who took tires on his pit stop, has blown by Jeff Stabnow. Stabnow is running 4th place in this race. Porovich passed him like he was sitting still.
And right as we said that, look who's on pit road. We have Case Hinkins and Chris White both coming to pit road. They're going to relinquish first and second there, and that gives the lead to Scott Mann as they're going to come down pit road, and they want those fresh Goodyears and that big tank of fuel as they're going to go in. We'll see here. I see one side being jacked up on the right for the 35. We'll see if he takes all 4. I'm pretty sure he will this early in the race. There he is. So Chris White going to be taking all 4, and so is the 20 of I forgot what is it. Case Hinkins going to take 4 tires. Those two are going to come off side by side, but it looks like Chris White is going to get out just ahead of him just a little bit. But again, that gives the lead to Scott Mann in the 90, who has not pitted. And it looks like we have a lot more coming in. Carl Burke, Gary Nichols, Kip Leo, Mike Peterson. So a lot of people starting to come into pit road.
Pit road is very busy right now. And I'll tell you, I'm looking at some stats here. And Dan Porovich, who was the first one that kind of possibly short pitted, this is a 65% fuel load race. And Porovich, who was the first one to hit pit road, you know, as this cycles through, he's got an opportunity, since he was there so early, to gain back a lot of time that he lost. And he might even be put back on the lead lap when this is all said and done.
He very well could be. It's interesting to see that Scott Mann has not come in just yet. Neither has Jeff Stabnow, Brad Cornell, or Chris Sherburne. So those guys are running a few more laps here. So clearly those front runners there probably short pitted by a lap, maybe 2 or 3 laps. Otherwise, you would probably see these front guys here running out of fuel. So they definitely were short pitting. They almost had to be.
Scott Mann slowing her down now, getting onto pit road.
Indeed, he is going to go in. So we'll see here as it looks like indeed too. Jeff Stabnow is going to come to pit road. Almost having to lock it up to get to pit road. But he does get it rode up in time. And we'll take a look here. It looks like Brad Cornell is going to stay out. So he's going to lead a lap here. Officially, I do believe. We'll see if he did lead that lap. But he is going to be your leader now. But again, 38 laps on those tires compared to everyone else. Chris Sherburne also has 38 on his tires, but everyone else now has 1 lap on their tires.
Yep, so Chris Sherburne and Brad Cornell have not yet made pit stops, only 2 cars. They're kind of now in a little bit of trouble here. They're waiting for the caution. They're going to hold out as long as they can. They're going to go on a full fuel run and hope that they can trap this field 1 lap down.
Yeah, definitely. And looking here, if you look at all the way to about Scott Mann, so 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th didn't go a lap down here. Now 7th going to be on the lead lap as well. So they didn't trap everyone down, as it looks like Brad Cornell in the 18 possibly might be coming to pit road. Looks like he is slowing it down here, and he is indeed. So Brad Cornell going to give up the lead to Chris Sherburne, who locks the brakes up heavy to avoid speeding on pit road. So that will do it. Everyone has come to pit road or is on pit road right now to make pit stops, and that's going to give the lead once again to Chris White in the 35 SimStar Motorsports machine.
So Chris White will assume the lead, but Brian Barnes, when everything cycles through, is going to be scored in 3rd place.
Now, what a good time for him, as there he is at the line, jumping to 3rd. So again, a very good time for him, as he is definitely paying off. His strategy of not qualifying and working his way through the field is paying off perfectly. It's doing exactly what he designed it to do when he thought it up in his head to say, I'm not going to qualify, I'm just going to pass all these guys on the track. And I'm not sure, I think they have passing points too, so that could be another strategy in his mind. I know I'm fast, I know I got a good setup, I'll start in the back, get all these passing points, win the race, get some more points there, and end up coming away with the lead at the end of this race.
It's not a bad strategy, and if you can wind up starting in the back, lead the most laps, win the race, do all that, get maximum points, man, you've nailed your strategy and you pulled it off. So I think that's a good strategy, a good gamble, and so far it looks like it's going in his favor.
Yeah, and you talked about him a second ago, right there in 12th place, Dan Porovich. He's on the lead lap once again.
Yep, Dan Porovich got on the lead lap, started this race 8th. He's currently scored 12th, but he did have a little bit of a long time on pit road compared to everyone else in front of him. He was on pit road about 10 seconds longer than anyone else, so that cost him a whole lot of time.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like maybe he tried to slow down a little too much, and that's what cost him more time. His pit stop wasn't that much worse. But yeah, like you said, his total time, 51.3 seconds compared to around 42 to 41. So yeah, like you said, about 10 seconds more. As he actually just got put a lap down by your leader, Chris White. So Chris White just passed him right as we were talking about getting his lap back. He goes right back down a lap.
Down a lap he is. And I would like to point out real quick that Andy Vogt has made it back out on the track, but he is 7 laps down.
So that is unfortunate. He is many laps down. And it looks like he's going to get passed by the 18. He's not going to give that 18 a lot of a battle. He knows there's no point to it. That is Brad Cornell, currently in 11th position on the lead lap. So no need in battling, just let him by.
Good move by Andy. Good guy move there, whatever you want to call it. And, a tough situation to be in. He's 7 laps down, but he doesn't want to give up. He wants to try and get as many points as he can, but you don't want to ruin someone else's race who is in front of you. So you just got to let him by, and you just got to log laps, and it makes for kind of a long race. And he's got to really stay focused, though, and work on hitting his marks and not getting caught off guard by a car come flying up and him getting involved in a wreck that maybe he shouldn't.
Definitely. You don't want that to happen. Look to the front. Chris White has a 1.566 second lead over Case Hinkins now in second place. And if you look back, Brian Barnes, we talked about him, 5.966, almost a 6-second lead. There it is, the 6-second lead over third place right now. So Chris White is putting together a dominant performance right now. He hasn't led the most laps. He's actually only led 10 laps here tonight. But he's putting together a good performance. As we're looking here, he's running 32.302 to 32.390. So he's putting in some very good times with those fresh tires.
His pit stop times were excellent, and he did a great job at, getting onto pit road and off of pit road. He leapfrogged several spots and managed to open up a large gap on the field. These pit stops shook up these top 3 drivers and allowed a lot of difference. And Scott Mann, who was the one that of the top 3, he was the last one to pit, and now he's sitting in 4th place, 15 seconds behind Chris White.
Yeah, he definitely is. And we just heard from Sean Breitzman, who didn't make the race tonight, in chat. 65% fuel. So not 50. They actually have 65%. So a little bit over halfway on fuel. And speaking of halfway, we're on lap 49, and we have not seen a caution yet. This race may go caution-free. Find some wood because we need to knock on it. because again, if we go caution free, this will be the first race this season that we have done so.
It'll be the first race where I can be in bed at a decent time, but I love doing this stuff, so no worries about me here. And Chris White just, again, picking them up and laying them down.
Yeah, it definitely is. And we're not too worried about you. Rudy, we know he liked to give you a rib. He's probably eating ice cream or in bed right now, but we haven't been known he has fallen asleep on the stream, so hopefully that doesn't happen to us here tonight. But again, we like to poke fun at Rudy, and he'll give it right back to us when he watches this, I'm sure. But again, right now, like you said, Chris White just picking them up and just lapping them right now. Putting, let's say, 11 of Kevin Geiger, now 28 laps down. And this is with damage. Again, we talked about this earlier. He is putting cars a lap down with damage to that car. So he made a pit stop. He opted not to do a fast repair and not get that damage repaired.
Yeah, Kevin Geiger, 28 laps down. He's got a long race ahead of him still, and got to be frustrating having that kind of damage early on. I kind of think he made that pit stop and didn't realize his fast repair was not checked.
Yeah, it definitely is. Looks like Dan Porvich is going to get by him. But looks like we are not going to get a caution anytime soon here. So let's go on the board here and just watch and see. With that damage to the 35 of Chris White, let's go on board with him and see what it's like. See what kind of movements he's making in that wheel. As again, he's running that SimStar Motorsports onboard camera here. You don't really see him making a whole lot of movements with the wheel. He's really just finessing it still.
One of the major things I'm seeing is he's not making a sharp, drastic turn to the right. That car is running nice and true and straight. He's not really having to catch it from coming around the back end from coming around. So he's able to lay down some good laps, and that car is very planted right now.
It is indeed, and we'll go back here. Let's go back to 5th. Jeff Stabnow also running the new leader onboard camera here. As we'll see comparison to them. Both of them look like they've had a little bit of damage. But both of them up here in the top, they are really finessing that wheel, just barely turning it. And like you said, they turn it to go straight, but they're not having to turn it to the right to keep the car going straight, which means they don't have any front end suspension damage or steering damage. So that is good news for anybody that's hit the wall so far. It doesn't look like they're having too much damage done. But again, those are the two onboard cameras we have here. A new leader sponsoring Jeff Stabnow, and of course in the Chris White's case, it is SimStar Motorsports. But two very fast drivers here. So I'm curious, can Jeff Stabnow get up there to the lead? He is running a 32.652 to a 32.765, so he ran a faster lap time than Chris White at the moment, but he just can't quite get there to him.
No, he can't get there quite yet. He's got quite a bit of time difference between him and Chris White. And I'll tell you who is really starting to make some gains right now, Brian Barnes. He's slowly closing in on Case Hinkins, and before too long, he's got quite a bit of gap to go. He's got almost 5-second gap, but it is slowly inching in.
It definitely is. He is closing in very slowly but surely, and I mean very slowly. But he very well could do it here. And I don't think we're going to get a caution, but this seems as good a time as any for the best we can here. If we get a restart, we'll really do it, but why not do a little crank it up cam here? We'll go to our leader here, and again, we'll be right back here. We're going to go do crank it up, and we will be back here in just a few laps. All right, we are back here again. Once again, that was a little cranking up there. If we get a caution, we'll definitely go real cranking up there with these 19 cars on the track. Again, we are working on getting a logo. We do have the logo. We just don't have it in the overlays yet for the crank it up. We are working to get that put in there. So hopefully shortly we will have that in. If any luck, we'll have it a little animated. I do have some plans for that, so that will be a very interesting addition here for tonight. But Chris White's still out front. He has now led 24 laps. Hinkins has led 29, so he's actually catching up with him. Those two may split it here. Split the laps led as we're on lap 61, about 40, well, actually exactly 40 laps to go. Caution free so far.
No cautions, and this field has really gotten spread out. You know, Case Hinkins is almost a second behind Chris White, and Brian Barnes is almost 5 seconds now behind Case Hinkins, and then everyone's about 1 to 2 seconds behind each other, and it gets a little crazy. And when you sprinkle in the lap cars there inside the top 10, as we only have 10 now, 10 cars on the lead lap. With this field spread out and the mix of lap cars, it could have a yellow at any time.
And as you said that, sorry to interrupt you, Dan Porovich, he is into his pit wall, went into pit road and actually hit his pit wall, as well as Donald Swayfield on pit road. So more pit stops coming in. I don't know, we were only on 28 laps, so that's a real early to be making a pit stop.
Porovich pitted early last time too, but this is going to be a devastating pit stop as he still has not gotten into his pit box.
Yeah, definitely. He's having blinking issues there, as now he's finally going to get that car in pit road. So that is going to put him 2 laps down once again, and I'm sure he'll probably go another lap down, as Chris White just went by the line to start lap 64. So definitely not what he wanted to see. And I'm not sure, like I said, that seemed way early to be making a pit stop here, as it was only 28 laps since their last pit stop. So he's short pitting there big time, but that's going to cost him a lot of laps now, as he's 2 laps down, and he may go 3 before he can get back up to full speed, as he's only doing 120 compared to Chris White doing 180 right now.
Porovich having a terrible time there on that pit stop. Short pitted, having a short pit. His short pit at the first time, no caution ever came out, so he's had to short pit again. And it kind of, when you bank on a caution and you don't get it, kind of sets the tone for your race. And then here he goes making a mistake, getting into his pit box, cost him a lot of time.
It did. And right now we're watching Kip Leo in the 16 car right there. He is already 2 laps down. And here he's about to go a 3rd lap down if Chris White can get by him. And Kip Leo gets into the wall and takes out your leader, Chris White. That is not what Chris White expected. Kip Leo gets into the wall and wrecks your leader, Chris White.
Also collected Donald Swaffield. But Chris White having some extensive damage here. He's going to go ahead and come down pit road. Hopefully he's got a fast repair and we'll be able to get that fixed and get back out there. This may not be too bad of a situation if he's got that fast repair. He did have a big lead on the field, so we'll see kind of how this is going to play out.
Yeah, not to make the situation any worse for him, a caution didn't even come out. No caution came out. So he is still in 4th. Now he's going to drop to 5th. So he
overshot his pit box.
Yeah, so overshooting his pit box. This situation is getting worse, but he is going to get that fast repair done, as he's dropping to 6th place right now. As there's your leader, Jeff Stabnow. He's going to come to pit road and give the lead to David Applegate. Again, we talked about him. He was one of the first cars to get into that outside wall. Now he's your race leader.
So Chris White getting back onto the racetrack here. Had a bad situation, but I don't think it's going to necessarily be a terminal deal for him. He's going to lose some ground and not being the best of spots as Brian Barnes and Scott Mann made pit stops, and he's about 10 seconds behind those guys. But the car, he did have fast repair. He was able to keep going. We got one in trouble.
The caution is going to come out, and
Thing is Mike Peterson.
Well, let's go back and take a look, see what happened to, again, Mike Peterson.
No, Scott Mann. Scott Mann in the 90, he's in the infield.
All right, we'll go back and see what happened to Scott Mann. First caution of the night on lap 69. Oh, getting it there. Not sure what happened to Mike Peterson. Let's go back here just another 30 seconds. See, maybe he just got loose, or he was all by himself, and that was my pick for the win here tonight. So that is not going to be good as he's now 2 laps down. But again, it had to be self-inflicted here because I don't see anybody around him.
Scott Mann bounced it off the outside wall coming out of the corner. Heavy damage to that car. And, you know, this is just what Chris White needed.
Yeah, it definitely is. He's got some fresh tires now, and it's his damage fixed. Now he's still on the lead lap, I do believe here, as we'll take a look. Yes, he is on the lead lap in 6th place with 30 laps to go. I don't think anybody will pit after this. You definitely know he's not going to pit. So we'll see here who all does pit and who doesn't pit, but everybody's got about 1 to 4 laps on their tires, with the exception of Chris Sherburne, who has quite a bit of damage on that number 15 machine. He's got 29 laps on his tires, and Gary Nichols with 34 laps on his tires.
So your new leader, who I have scored in my timing sheet, is Case Hinkins. But it looks like David Applegate also is letting cars by.
Yeah, not sure how come he is indeed. He's letting the 24 of Jeff Stabnow by as well, and the 14. But the 14, of course, several laps down, I do believe. As we'll take a look. Yeah, he's on the lead lap by correction. He's back in 12th place. But Chris White, 4th place. So that little incident didn't hurt him too much. As if we have him, you want to see if we can't pull him to the booth real fast. Actually, he's making a pit stop, so we'll let him do that real fast. Let's pull Jeff Stabnow up here and see if we can't get a word in with him.
Mr. Stabnow, got your ears on?
I got you.
Well, you're running 3rd place right now. Not sure what all was going on there. We almost saw, well, we did see the leader get taken out. Nothing intentional, just bounced off the wall. And unfortunately, Chris White was right there. But he did use his fast repair, so his car's fixed. Do you think you can hold him off?
Boy, I have no idea. You know, that we got pretty spread out there, so I'm not sure what everybody else has. First run, you know, I used it up there a little bit early on, and didn't really run anybody down there at the end of that second run. I think I was starting to run them down a little bit, so we'll see. We got fresh tires and about 30 laps to go.
Yeah, and first caution of the night coming in here, did you count on quite a few cautions, or did you expect this thing to go green as long as it did?
No, I actually kind of expected it. This crew, we were pretty good on these bigger tracks last year. We did not have a lot of cautions. There's plenty of grip here, so I expected maybe we were going to have somewhere between 1 and 3 cautions, so not surprised.
Well, definitely on the route to have just one, but good luck out there, and hopefully we'll see you in here in the booth for the post-race show.
All right, thank you, sir. We'll give it our best shot.
All righty. All right, well, that was, again, Jeff Stabnow, as we're running on board with him right now. While we were talking to him, he has a good shot here. I don't know. Case Hinkins has been pretty fast, so has Brian Barnes, but he may possibly get by him, as it looks like they're going to double foul up to get the green flag next time by.
They are. Lights are out on the pace car. The wave rounds are going through, and Chris White is going to start 3rd row inside. So what could have been a tragic event has turned into another opportunity. Chris White has the opportunity here to get this car back into the front and send it sailing in clean air, but he's got to get by Case Hinkins, Brian Barnes. Those two have been fast, and the guy we just talked to, Jeff Stabnow.
Indeed. Again, for anyone real fast just tuning in, you are watching the Northwest Xfinity Series. This is the Ness Racing 150 presented by Highway Equipment Company. Real quick to announce all their sponsors, of course, Highway, New Leader, and Sanctuary Studios, all great sponsors here, but it looks like we're about ready, so we'll give you the honors, KR. We'll let you count them down to the green.
Case Hinkins getting on the throttle, getting a great start. No one else was ready for it. Brian Barnes caught napping, Jeff Stabnow as well. So Case Hinkins doing a great job on the start there and going to dive off into turn one with no challenge around him.
Yeah, he has definitely got a huge lead. And I expect to see this race probably finish under green from here on out. And everybody pitting, we have less than 30 laps to go. Here's a look at the caution grid. 1 caution, 3 laps, 28 laps to go. We're not going to pit from here on unless a caution comes out. Somebody may surprise us, but I don't see that happening. This race is probably going to finish right now under green. 75 laps fixing to be here. We're on lap 74. We're 3/4 of the way done, and we've only been here for about an hour and a half. They're booking it right now.
These guys are logging these laps super fast, and I'll tell you another thing that's going right now. Case Hinkins, he's got about a half-second lead over Brian Barnes, but that is not going to last long as Barnes is closing in on him.
He definitely is closing in very quickly here. And it looks like Case Hinkins just led his 34th lap, so he has led the most laps here. Well, Chris White has led 29. Looks like Mann has led 5 laps, and Applegate led 3. So we've had 8 different lead changes with about 4 or 5 different leaders as Brian Barnes is running in second right now. He just can't quite get there, I don't think. 0.333 seconds off. He's so close, but just unable to get up there to Case Hinkins because Case Hinkins has just been so fast all night.
Brian Barnes running that high line right there, and then gonna exit high. Good car, good entry for that car, not pinching it off. I think he's setting himself up here for a little bit of a long run. He's probably thinking like you, let's conserve these tires and make a run at it here at the end of this race.
Yeah, I think he's trying to hold off and conserve those tires. One we want to keep an eye on, though, if we look back here, David Applegate in the 23. He has been out front already, so can he get back to the front? Again, he's led 3 laps, so that damage clearly not slowing him down, as it looks like he may have used his fast repair to get that number 23.
Oh, we got 1, 2 in the back wall. The 7 machine and the 15 getting together coming out of turn 2. 7 of Brett Johnson and the 15 of Chris Sherburne. That was a battle for position. Both cars keep going, but man, they both did a great job at saving it.
And definitely the damage on that 15. It's a wonder that car will even run. The back's torn up, the front's torn up. I believe the only clean panel on there is the door panel on the driver's side. So everybody that's seen Days of Thunder, I'm sure his crew chief will go out there and kick that after the race so they don't get spoiled. A very good race indeed. Fixing to be 20 to go next time by. Case Hinkins out front, and we have seen good battles as now Chris White is right on the back bumper of the 24 of Jeff Stabnow, and they're right behind Brian Barnes as well. So there it is, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Right there on your screen, battling very hard. But again, you've got a nice little sizable lead for Case Hinkins, but I'm not sure. These guys may pull a little bit of a draft here. It's not going to be like Daytona drafts, but if they can go a single file for a while, they will do it, but I don't think that's going to happen as Chris White's going to try to take a second, and we got a car spinning.
Barnes going end over end.
Oh, that's bad. That car is going to be destroyed, as it is going to end up landing on its wheels somehow. Let's go back and take a look. That looked like, I don't even know if he actually touched him. we'll take a look here at the replay. Oh no, the 4 Brian Barnes actually got into the wall first. As we're going to watch that violent flip again. That is a gnarly flip. So that is not what he wanted. Does land it on the wheels. So we'll see. He does get it back under power. But that was not the fault of the 24 of Jeff Stabnow. The 4 of Brian Barnes actually getting into the wall prior to getting the bump from Jeff Stabnow.
So getting into the wall there, hopefully he's got a fast repair, can get back out there. We only have 8 cars on the lead lap here, so not too much ground will be lost.
Definitely not. And look who's sitting in second place now. Chris White, as he's going to come to pit road. He's not going to fake it. He is going to come down. I did not expect to see this. Those top 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks like we'll see. Is Brad Cornell going to come down? He's going to come down. Everybody coming down pit road right now. Again, like you said, there's only 8 drivers on the lead lap, and all 8 of them going to come down pit road.
I would be one of those drivers coming down pit road. No strategy here. Tires are what everyone is after. The tires are going to make a huge difference. We had too many laps ran on our tires and too many laps to go. All it would have taken was one person to pit for tires and no one else. And that person would have gone around and won this thing. So everyone taking a defensive move, taking the tires here. And Chris White's going to beat Case Hinkins off pit road.
Yeah, just like that, he is going to be your new leader once again. So he has had the UPS day, the ups and downs. He has definitely had a wild day here. Again, you could call it getting taken out by a lap car. That's not really what it was. The lap car just got into the wall. Probably didn't even officially know who was behind him. He just knew there was a car. But he did get into the wall, came off the wall, collecting the 35, which at the time was your race leader. Now he's your race leader once again. So unfortunate, but fortunate here. He's back in the lead once again.
Chris White doing a great job at recovering from that accident. Now we're going to look at Brian Barnes. He's kind of in the same situation, but he has got a lot less laps to recover. He's going to... Looks like he's going to be scored 8th place right now, and we're inside of 20 laps to go of this race.
Yeah, we definitely are here, and we said you were going to do this earlier and we forgot, but why not this time when we get the restart here and under 20 laps? Seems like a fitting time for to go crank it up, Cam.
I like it, especially on a restart.
Definitely always a good time. So let's see. Look here. It looks like they're still single file, so we're not going to get it this time. So we'll at least take one more lap.
Lights are still on the pace car, and we got quite a few cars to wave around it as Chris White is scored as our leader, but he is not the first car behind the pace car.
No, he's definitely not. So we'll see how many of these drivers are going to get by here. We don't want those lap cars in the way, and I'm sure your leaders do not want them in the way either. As we'll take a look here from the rear view of the pace car. Well, that is a horrible view. Sorry, folks. We will change that very quickly here. That's the back bumper there of the 35 of Chris White. Everyone behind him. Again, that gray on the screen is actually his back bumper there. That is not a glitch. As you can see, everybody just behind him. This could get very interesting to see here, if somebody's going to make a gutsy call.
Lights are out on the pace car. The wave arounds are getting waved around, and the field will start to form up here. And Chris White back on pole with Case Hinkins taken to the outside of row 1.
Yeah, definitely here. And like you said, lights are out. So again, we're gearing up here. Let's get ready here this time by. We're going to go crank it up style one more time. Alright, looks like we are on the back stretch now. So again, half a lap Well, hopefully everybody is ready for the Crank It Up. Again, we do apologize for not having a graphic in there. We're going to work on getting that in there, though. I had a little cough there, so we do apologize for that. But they are getting really punched up now, as it looks like they are getting a little bit faster there, so that means that pace car is about ready to pull off. We'll put the top 3 back up on there for you, and let's get ready for it. There it is. They're going green flag. Let's go Crank It Up style. All right, we are back here. As this is wrapping up here, we may have a battle. 0.1 seconds separate Chris White and Case Hinkins right now. As Case Hinkins going to take it to the inside, he may try to make a run for the lead. As we are closing in on the last few laps here, we have 14 laps to go here. 2 cautions for 6 laps.
Chris White doing a great job of defending against Case Hinkins there. White went to the high side in 1 and 2, got a great run down the backstretch, and has a little bit of a gap now on Hinkins. Hinkins has to regroup. Gonna try again here, going low on this front stretch. I'm gonna dive off into turn 1 here.
Yeah, definitely. And normally, or earlier, not normally, but earlier, we saw Chris White going further down. He was using every bit of this, even below the apron. He is not doing that now. He has moved up, so maybe he's found some faster speed up at the top of this track. At least in the trial, he does go down towards the bottom in the turn, as he's going to lead them to the line here to start lap 89.
So we're on lap 89 now, and we currently have 11 cars on the lead lap. Brian Barnes, who was our last caution, is currently running 9th, but he did get that fast repair. Just looks like he's not able to make any moves right now.
Yeah, definitely. We haven't talked about Matt Henry too much in the 19, but he's able to hold off Brian Barnes. He may have got that fast repair, but I'm not sure it's the same, as he's actually still got some damage to the side of that car, so he may not have used it. Maybe he forgot to check it and just had to get as much damage fixed as he could, but he wasn't on pit road for more than 41 seconds, so he could have used it, but I still see some damage to the right side, right front of that car.
I did see him use the fast repair, so that damage has happened since then, and a little bit unfortunate, and it might be what's holding him back.
Yeah, definitely. That is unfortunate. Probably good. Looks like he got into the outside wall, and that outside wall has definitely plagued a lot of people here, as it looks like Kip Leo in the 16 is going to try to get by him here, and he will do so. But again, Kip Leo's 3 laps down. Brian Barnes is on the lead lap, and he's being able to be passed by lap cars right now. So that car is definitely damaged, and I think his chances of winning this race are just about over here with 10 laps to go.
19 cars started this race. Only 1 car has packed it up and gone home. That is the 90 machine of Scott Mann. And we are inside 10 laps to go, and we still have no idea who's going to win this thing. Chris White or Case Hinkins. Or it could be anyone else. These two could end up taking each other out.
Yeah, they very well could. They look like nice, clean race cars right now. But again, there's still 9 laps to go. They could end up looking like wads of sheet metal by the time it's all said and done. And the driver, we harassed him a little bit here. That is the 24 of Jeff Stabnow. Always talks about how he doesn't win. But apparently you don't have to win to finish good. He's finishing in third right now if he stays where he's at, but David Applegate right behind him is putting the pressure on, and that's a good battle for third position. It looks like Applegate may get by him.
Applegate charging there on the inside, getting a run down the straightaway. Oh, contact made. Stabnow didn't realize Applegate was going to wash up a little bit. Stabnow, heavy damage, stuck in the outside wall.
Had no caution so far, but he is stuck in that wall. Oh, and gets collided, and that is not good. We got some cars possibly going around. I'm not sure who that was, but Stabnow still in the wall. Caution does come out. He just couldn't get off the wall. So let's go back. I'm not sure who that was, but again, somebody did make contact with him. So let's go back and take a look and see if we can figure out what all happened there. That was a very strange there. You see Stabnow into the wall after contact. It's like he got stuck like a magnet. Somebody came along right there. The 14 of Kip Lee, or not Kip Leo. That was Mike Peterson. Clips him and keeps it going though. But Jeff Stabnow, and kind of feel bad. We just may have jinxed him there, finishing what would have been a third place finish, and now he is on pit road. With heavy damage to that car.
This is going to set up an interesting shootout. I don't think this race is going to finish under yellow. I think we're going to get a one-lap shootout.
We would indeed. If it would have been lap 5 to go, this race would be over. And Chris White, no, he's not coming down. He's going to fake it, trying to get people to come with him. There's 6 laps to go. There's no way a veteran like Chris White in the number 35, SimStar Motorsports is going to come to pit road. And he didn't. He was just faking them out. And we'll see, indeed, it is going to be a one-lap shootout here to finish this race.
Brad Cornell, first one to pit road from 7th place. So we'll be watching to see how he can advance through on these fresh tires.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, I think even him and Chris Sherburne have those fresh tires. I personally don't think it's going to matter. Your winner is going to come from those top 3. It's going to be Chris White, Case Hinkins, or David Applegate. Assuming they don't get together and wad the whole front of the field up and we just have a huge wreck. But again, when we get the green flag to come out, it's the white flag too. So no caution can end it at that point. It's going to be raced out to the line at that point. So these guys are good. They're respectful. They're clean racers. 1 lap to go. It's kind of all bets off. Anything could happen, and it may happen.
It's going to be interesting. I'm excited to see this one. It's going to be wild. And, you know, we're going to have 100 laps completed at the end of this. Only one person can win it. There are so many strategy options that have taken place with this last minute caution. And Case Hinkins, sitting in second, has got to get a great restart if he is going to try anything down this backstretch to get by Chris White.
Yeah, he definitely is. And it's going to be a very interesting start here. You know Chris White's going to try to get a good start. And the big key is going to be how good can Case Hinkins on the outside stay with him. Theoretically, I have a feeling that Chris White is going to get a good start. And you may see David Applegate take second from Case Hinkins because he's going to have a better idea of when the leader goes. He's behind him. He's not to the side of him. So unless Case Hinkins does have like a VR headset where he can see better next to him, or at least 3 monitors, I have a feeling the 23 is going to take second place here.
Going to be interesting. You know, it could come down to one of these drivers also overdriving the corner. You know, trying to get as much out of it as they can. Maybe misjudge the grip level here as they dive into turn 1 and how fresh their tires are.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know who's going to win this. My prediction is one of those top 3. but I have been proven wrong before, so this is going to get very interesting here in the closing laps. As we'll look here, it looks like the lights are still on the pace car. 3 laps to go this time. And actually, it looks like the pace lap drive, we're actually going to get 2 laps instead of 1. So we're going to have a 2-lap shootout instead.
That's going to be a very, very exciting race here. Everyone better hold on tight because this thing ain't over yet.
It is not over yet. Again, we could get a caution. If a caution comes out soon after they take the green, that would end the race. So one of 2 things is going to end this race: the checker flag or a yellow flag. The question is, which one is it going to be?
Down the backstretch we go. We're in the final few laps of tonight's event, and I'll tell you, Chris White really gets a great start, can get out of the box here really well. Case Hinkins, we saw him pull off a tremendous restart earlier as well. So it's going to be interesting, and I'm willing to bet that these guys go barreling off into turn 1 side by side.
Yeah, I definitely think so too, as they are gearing it up. 2 laps to go at the line, and you're going to see them start to gain a little bit of speed right here. As they are bunched up tight. There it is. Green flag's out. We are racing once again. And the 20 got a good start on the 35. Again, Case Hinkins in that 20. 35 is Chris White. And those 2 are well, they were side by side. Now they're going to go single file. The question is, can Case Hinkins get by Chris White?
Case Hinkins has got his nose tucked down under Chris White. Now Chris White looking to the inside here, defending it, putting Case Hinkins on the outside. Got to hold on to it here. Case Hinkins losing some ground, though.
He lost a ton of ground there. And look who's in third now. Got by David Applegate. It's Gary Nichols. He got his fast repair done, as he is now in 3rd place. But that's the battle. We know Chris White's probably going to win this, as he's out front right now. But we have a battle going on for 2nd position. It looks like the 20 is going to get into the wall, and that's going to let the 8 of Gary Nichols by him. David Applegate, not quite enough to get by him, and it's going to be a side-by-side battle. But it looks like Gary Nichols is going to take 2nd as well.
Chris White coming across the start-finish line here. He's going to be your race winner.
Indeed, he is your race winner. Chris White bringing home the win in that Sim Star Motorsports number 35 Chevrolet. Actually, my bad, that's a Camry. My bad, apology. He is running a Toyota Camry here tonight. What a good run for him to bring home the win, as he's going to get... I thought he was getting a little victory love tap there from the 18, but the 18 just had to check up so he didn't run over him. But again, that is your race winner here tonight.
All right, and I have our 1st and 3rd place finishers in the booth.
And we do we not have Gary Nichols here with us?
I do not see him.
That is unfortunate. He put a heck of a run in here tonight. So hopefully with any luck we'll see him in here in just a little bit. But meanwhile, we will get to your post-race show here. Again, starting in 3rd place. So if you want to grab 3rd place, KR, I will grab 1st place.
All right, Case Hinkins finishing 3rd here, started 4th. Man, tell us a little bit about that last lap shootout there that you experienced when that caution came out.
Oh, I just overdrove trying to make something happen on the 35. Man, we just got the bum end of just about every single caution tonight. I swear, we were in advantageous positions there 3 or 4, probably 3 times, and then the caution just came out. So, bummer, but we'll move on.
Well, you know, 2nd place is nothing to be upset about. You did a great job all race. You were never outside the top 5, and you know, your car looked really well, really stable. You led some laps. Give us a little bit of rundown about the early stages and leading some of the laps out here.
Yeah, the plan as usual, just try to stay out front, away from all the potential wrecks and drama in the mid to back. And well, like I said, the car felt really good. I think we had a race-winning car if things would have gone our way. Fortunately, they didn't.
Well, like I said, the car looked good, and here you are finishing third, so not too bad. Any sponsors, people you'd like to thank?
I'd just like to thank everybody at the league. This is my third race here, and just like last week, I'm having a blast and loving racing with everyone. So, good job to everybody, and I'll be back next week.
All right, well, once again, congratulations on a podium finish.
All right. And with your winner here tonight, still out on the track doing some victory laps and some burnouts, trying to blow those tires up if he can. Unfortunately, can't happen in here in iRacing, but he's sure going to try. That is the 35 of Chris White. First off, explain what was going through your mind in the closing laps. You have a lap car get into the wall and get into you and potentially take you out of the race. You rebound and come back and win it.
First of all, that was a tough race. That's tough battling right there with Case. Good racing with him. Congratulate him on a podium finish. Good running. It's tough. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous on that last restart right there with old tires, especially with some cars in the back there that had new tires. You're running that potential of spinning tires and causing a big wreck up front, but I'm just glad it stuck and held on.
Well, you definitely held on for the win here. You led 48 laps, so you led the most laps here. Very close, though. Again, Case Heekins leading 41 laps. But you did end up pulling out the most laps, so you get that bonus point. So, altogether, a great run. We only had 3 cautions here. Coming into the night, were you planning for quite a few cautions, very few? What was the strategy as far as pitting and that kind of stuff?
Well, for a while, the green flags kept ticking off, and I thought it might go green the whole way, but I expected there to be more cautions. But as far as pit stops, I figured probably every 35 laps or so I'd be hitting pit road for new tires. Burning up that right front, it seems to happen at most tracks, and especially here you start pushing in the corners. It gets tough to turn. Therefore, you need new tires.
Definitely tires play a big factor here. We do a lot of dirt racing, me and Kyle both, but they don't have the tire wear. Over here, you do have tire wear, and it is definitely, you have dynamic tracks, dynamic tires. These things heat up. So comparing from the beginning of practice to the end of this race, how was the grip level? How much more rubber was laid down on this track from start to finish?
Well, as the race goes on, more rubber gets laid down. Grip picks up a little bit. As far as practice, I wasn't really getting a feel for it early on, but I adjusted my steering offset a little bit and found some time and ended up putting this car on the pole, which was good. And we found victory lane, drove pretty good, pretty solid car.
Oh, definitely you put a solid finish here coming away with the win. You're already the points leader, so I'm pretty sure you will maintain that points lead. But any sponsors or shout-outs you want to give for that win here tonight?
Certainly, as always, the series sponsors. You got Walls Beer Co., New Leader, Highway. They're putting on this series and providing a platform here for us to run. Great series to be a part of, and once again, SimStar Motorsports, a team I built myself here recently, and so that's kind of growing. Again, I thank everyone for everything. It's a lot of fun being out here.
Well, definitely fun, and it's always even more fun when you come away with the win. But we are not done just yet, folks, so we still have 2 more pieces of business to take care of. So, KR, if you want to, we'll take the top 10, and I will run through the rest of this unofficial finishing order here.
Chris White, your race winner, started on pole, won the race, led the most laps. Great run by him today. solid day. Gary Nichols, he also started on the front row, and he's going to wind up second. So our front row, they didn't run there the whole time, but they managed to go right back where they started. Case Hinkins going to bring it third. Fourth place is David Applegate. Fifth, Brad Cornell. Sixth of Brian Barnes, who had that wild ride, flipped the car, but managed to make his way back up to sixth place. Still had a great run as though he started 20th. Seventh place is going to be Carl Burke. Eighth, Matt Henry. Brett Johnson will be ninth. And rounding out your top 10, Chris Sherburne.
All right, finishing in 11th is going to be Mike Peterson. 12th is going to be Jeff Stabnow, running such a good run. And then, again, getting into the back of another car after they scraped the wall there. So, unfortunate 12th place finish for him tonight. Was set to get a top 3 podium finish. 13th, Trent Alley. 14th, Donald Swayfield. Sorry about that. 15th, Kip Leo. 16th goes to Dan Porovich. 17th, Andy Vogt. 18th, Kevin Geiger. We're showing 218th. That's really weird. 19th, Scott Mann. So I'm not sure why that's showing 218s in here for us. And then after that, they really don't do a whole lot. Scott Hutchinson did not start. Brandon Peters did not start. And Brad Carpenter did not start the race. Before we sign off for the night, we do want to thank all of the sponsors on MaxSpeedTV and for the Northwest Xfinity Series. Of course, simspeedshop.com. Definitely shout them out. Go look them for some great-looking button boxes if you need one. HRE Motorsports and Elite 7 Racing, 2 teams here that keep us doing what we do. Virtual to reality.tv. If you're looking to get into iRacing and need a 3-month code, definitely check them out as we can get you some, and they can get you some as well. Get you 3 months on iRacing free. Dirtco Media House, when we do stream to Facebook, it is that little fee that we have to pay is covered by Dirtco Media House. And Ohio IndyCar League, if you're in the Ohio area or a club on iRacing, check them out for some great IndyCar racing. And of course, on the racing side of things, this entire series is brought to you by Highway Equipment Company. Big shout out to them for coming on board here for this. And they have 2 branches. One of those being Highway. We didn't have any representatives of that one here for onboard camera today. So that is unfortunate. And new leader, we did have Jeff Stabnow running that brand. And of course, Sanctuary Studios for coming on board. That is Josh Cushman, who was not here to do so as well. And it looks like we are getting the word that we have Gary Nichols here. So let's pull him here in the booth real fast. Oh, I see. Gary Nichols, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
All right. We did get a word in here. We didn't know if we were going to there for a minute. You finished second here. So what was it like out there? We saw that at one point you got into the outside wall, which wasn't nothing surprising there. A lot of people were getting into the outside wall. But to kind of tear up the car a little bit, get it fixed, come back and finish second. What was it like out racing on that track today?
Well, for me tonight, it was all play catch-up. My sound system died on me between qualifying and the race, so I had no sound whatsoever until the first pit stop. And the reason I was in the pits and lost 2 laps is because I was switching over to my speaker, so I finally got it back. So I could hear okay, but couldn't talk to anybody, unfortunately. But at that point, it was just a battle to stay as clean as I could and keep up as best I could so I can try and get my laps back. And things worked out just right.
Well, it definitely worked out for you here. 2 laps down, you come back to finish in second place. A very good finish for that matter. It's kind of ups and downs seems to be the theme here for tonight's race. We had several drivers fall back and come back to the front. Pretty much the entire top 3 at one point. So comparing this track to last week's and going forward, do you think you obviously did a little better here? You finished second. And going forward, do you have a track that you're looking forward to getting to?
This was it. Las Vegas is my favorite track. I love this place, and I've always done pretty well here. Beyond this, I'm just gonna, if I can finish top fives for the season, I'd be tickled to death.
Well, definitely, if you keep putting second place finishes, I expect to see you pretty high in the point standings. I keep finishing second week in and week out, you very well could be the champion here. But again, that is a long ways off. Still about 16 weeks off if I do, my math is correct. So that is a long way to go here. But on the short term of things, any sponsors or shout-outs you want to give for that second place finish here?
Don't have any sponsors as yet. Looking for something. If somebody wants to put a name on my hood, be happy to do that for them. Other than that, we're just going to keep plugging along. It's a long ways for the season, so we'll see how we do.
All right, well, there you go. That was Gary Nichols finishing in second place. If you're out there looking to sponsor someone, finish second today. Put a good run together. Definitely a good driver to sponsor, so you might check him out. But that just about does it here for us tonight. So, KR, you have any last thoughts over here for the race?
We had a great long opening stint with lots of green flag racing, and then our first caution happened, and then it seemed like more and more of the cautions came piling in. So overall, I thought it was a great race, and what the breakdown of the cautions really threw in some curveballs that drivers weren't ready for. So we had overall a great mix of all kinds of racing tonight.
Definitely did. A great race, very few cautions, and I look forward to coming back here next week. We still have the race Thursday night with the trucks, so hopefully with any luck we can do a repeat there. But that does wrap it up here, as it's a little late for some of us, 12:30 in the morning here in the Central Time, and a little bit later for some people, so we're going to sign off here. We will see you at the next Northwest Series race, which will be the Truck Series next this Thursday. So we'll see you then. Until then, stay safe and have a great night.